You're listening to The Shiny Sofa, the official podcast from Latex 24/7, the premier online magazine dedicated to latex fashion news, reviews, and interviews.
Hello, and welcome to episode 12 of The Shiny Sofa. Coming up on this show, we talk about latex at the BRITS, an amazing new collection from Shokushu boutique, and the phenomenal Dulce pushes boundaries with latex fashion. Joining us today is Filth Latex owner Stuart and latex model Latex Lottie.
I like there to be a tease of what else is there, what's underneath.
So take a seat on the sofa, make yourself comfortable, and don't forget to follow us on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and of course via latex247.co.uk.
Hi everyone, thanks for joining us for episode number 12 of The Shiny Sofa, the latex fashion podcast brought to you by Latex 24/7. Each episode will welcome a special guest, and I'm pleased to say that actually this week we've got two guests. We've got the amazing Stuart, who's owner and designer of Filth Latex, and regular amazing latex model Latex Lottie. Fab to see you both. Thank you for joining us. Hope you're both doing well.
Wonderful, thanks. Yeah, thanks for having me on here.
It's a pleasure. No problem. Thanks for joining us. It's always great to get a latex designer's input on these things and what's going on in the world of latex clothing at the moment. Brill.
And you know I like being here.
Yeah, well, you're always welcome. You know, it's come back every month if you want to. Brill. Cheers, guys. I'm sure we'll have plenty to talk about, and we'll get on with it. Brilliant. Here at the Shiny Sofa, we like to find out a little bit more about our guests and what makes them tick. With a segment of the show we call the Quickfire Round. We've got a huge list of questions which we feed into our random number generator and ask guests to 60 seconds to answer as many quickfire multiple choice questions as they can before that time runs out. Stuart, are you ready? Should we do it?
As always.
Fab. Let's go for it then. Here we go. Coffee or tea?
Tea.
Burger King or McDonald's?
McDonald's.
Marvel or DC?
Marvel. No, DC.
Kindle or paperback?
Paperback.
Country or city?
City.
Netflix or YouTube?
YouTube.
Read a book or watch a movie?
Read a book.
Salty or sweet?
Both. I'll say salty.
Heels or flats?
Heels.
Good choice. Christmas or birthday?
Christmas.
Wine or beer?
Beer.
Red pill or the blue pill?
Red.
Pancakes or waffles?
Pancakes.
Shower or bath?
Shower.
Flowers or chocolates?
Flowers.
Xbox or PlayStation?
PlayStation.
Train or plane?
Train.
I think that sound means that we have come to the end of the minute. I make that you got 17, which I believe puts you in joint first place there, Stuart. Well done.
Wow.
Well done.
Wow.
You know, that means Lottie, you're going to have to come back and have another go, doesn't it, at some point? And
I'm going to have to make decisions quicker.
So let's take a look at some of the recent latex clothing and fashion news which we've featured on latex247.co.uk. First of all, I think it'd be wrong of us not to discuss latex fashion at the BRITS. Another awards show, another show that's full of celebrities wearing the shiny stuff, Stuart. Asuka Kudo featured a couple of times. Of course, we saw Ray, who became the first female singer to win 6 or 7 Brit Awards, I think, in one night. She certainly broke the record. And she was there on stage in a customized, custom-made tulip gown, which I think just phenomenal, absolutely stunning. We also saw rapper, singer, and actress Eve. She was there in the what Asuka Kudo class as the oversized trench jacket, and also their fishtail aerial skirt. And then finally, we saw drag artist and RuPaul's drag race UK contestant Bimini, hope that's how you pronounce it, which went for the kind of ultimate latex accessory, a pair of latex gloves from Honor Skin 2. What's your thoughts on those particular outfits, Stuart?
Yeah, I mean, what can you say about Sirakudo? They're doing so much for the whole latex world at the moment. I love I think when you see a lot of the stars, they all kind of go for the similar kind of thing. I think I always I recognize the cups.
Yes, yeah,
they really, and obviously they're beautiful design. It's a simple design, but it's so elegant.
Yes,
it's so elegant, and it's always nice to see. More people now. It's becoming a more regular occurrence. People wearing them, and it's nice to see current stars kind of branching out and trying to find some other designers that'll do them. Obviously, we mentioned Avellano before. I think I saw somebody one at the Oscars. I think wearing a male wearing Avellano suit.
Yes,
yeah, and you covered also. So it's nice to see it, but they'll look absolutely stunning.
Yeah. I absolutely love the little details in that dress that Ray's wearing. That's I forget what they're called now. They weren't crystals. They were, but they just add an extra element of elegance to that dress and just elevates it to the next level, as if it needed elevating already, really. But
it's absolutely beautiful, and the little cutout underneath and the shape, fantastic. Yeah, it's really beautiful. I'm quite jealous. I didn't.
Fab. Moving on to the second story then. That we picked out the archives. Stuart was a designer known as Mich Dulce, originally born Michelle Dulce. She was a fashion designer and milliner from the Philippines, I believe. She has produced a new collection which has the slightly strange contrast of including latex, but taking a lot of inspiration from Amish designs and outfits, of course, which are by definition very simple and plain, very uniform, aren't they? They it's the case of everyone wears something very similar. I think it's quite a nice touch bringing those two worlds together. It's different.
I think it's phenomenal. I've never heard of this designer before, and the textures that she gets, I love it when people mix other fabrics with latex.
Yeah,
even with wearing other fabrics with latex, absolutely love. And other fabrics is something that I can't do, so it's nice to see. I know my limitations, right? And so this is phenomenal. The dress, the first dress, with the bow, and the black, the layers and the folds is just absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah, it is
absolutely gorgeous.
It is very flowing, very elegant.
Absolutely amazing. It's so interesting, and I think it's a phenomenal concept. And I think she did. That's the palm dress. think, named it after a latex lover.
Yes. Yeah.
And
Right.
that's absolutely phenomenal. The form on the dress is absolutely beautiful.
Yeah.
Absolutely beautiful. The top part is quite a basic form, but the folds and the textures and the contour of it is just absolutely stunning. I absolutely love that.
Yeah.
I like it more than a pseudo kudo.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
completely agree on that one there, Stuart. It's a very eye-catching piece, and fingers crossed we see more latex from that particular designer in future collections.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's great seeing it coming from a designer coming out from the Philippines and stuff.
Yeah, definitely.
I think that's phenomenal, and puts a whole spotlight on that whole fashion. I'm sure there's a thriving fashion industry there, a lot of interesting designers, so it'll be good for them to get a spotlight on the Philippines for a designer.
Completely agree, without a doubt. Finally, we covered the reveal of the new collection from London-based Shokushu boutique. We actually spoke to the owner of the brand, Emily, who presented her work during London Fashion Week, of all places.
Wow.
Very prestigious. She presented alongside a number of other designers, many of which unfortunately weren't latex, but never mind. At St John's Church in London, which I think the photos, first of all, the actual setting of where the catwalk was absolutely breathtaking. Really was. It's gorgeous building. I have to get down there at some point and see it for real, I think. But Emily took a lot of inspiration from her studies on 16th century French queens, which was something she did for a doctorate, apparently. And the title is called Under the Sign of the Moon, which takes inspiration from a medieval poem, Le Roman de la Rose, which if you Google, you can find it. But yeah, she takes the inspiration from that. I think a very accessible collection that she's produced. It's something that can be worn by anybody and everybody. What's your opinion on it, Stuart?
Again, this is the first time that I've heard of this this company.
Yeah.
And I found it quite intriguing what they were doing, what Emily is doing. There was a couple of standouts. There was like a red top and a red skirt. I don't think they're joined without any place. The skirt I love. Again, I love the contours and the layering and how the form sits on the body. I think it's gorgeous. There was also another one with the pink top. There was a model wearing like the pink top, and then it was kind of a blue kind of skirt there.
Yep.
Excellent. It's such an original form. The pink dress is just, I think it's gorgeous. I like that ragged and not the straight lines at the bottom.
Yeah,
kind of cut up. I really like that, and so really pushing to do something different.
Yeah,
I always appreciate that, and good on her. This is really nice, and I'm glad she got it in London Fashion Week. You're absolutely right. That venue is phenomenal.
Yeah, it is, and absolutely perfect venue for the collection, given the inspiration, given the historical relevance to it, and also given the designs, the fact that she'd included those details like the sort of moon motif and things onto them. So, absolutely perfect arrangement, I think. Yeah, that's brilliant. Cheers, Stuart. Thank you for that. It's been great to hear your thoughts, and we'll be back soon after these messages.
You're listening to The Shiny Sofa, the official podcast from Latex 24/7, the premier online magazine dedicated to latex fashion news, reviews, and interviews.
Welcome back to The Shiny Sofa, the latex fashion podcast brought to you by Latex 24/7. Join us again in this episode, latex designer Stuart of Filth Latex Clothing, and we're also joined by latex model Latex Lottie. Welcome back, guys. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me. I do.
It's if we could start with you, Stuart. It's has fashion always been something that's been part of your life? Is it something that's always been a passion there in the background? Has it always been something that you've been involved with?
It's not something I've always been involved with, but it's always been there. I think the big connection was from music, and being from about the age of 12 when I first started getting into punk at that age and dressing like that. And then the 80s, I'm showing my age, but the 80s also like revivalism and stuff, and that's always been a part. And obviously with my love of punk, specifically the Sex Pistols, that then grew my love of what was associated with that, which was Malcolm McLaren and Vivienne Westwood.
Of course,
and,
yeah.
And what they did, and of course, what's relevant to this is that they were the first. Shop Police Malcolm McLaren was the first one who brought latex to the high street.
Yeah,
in 1977.
Yeah,
they wear masks, t-shirts and stuff like that. So he really brought that fetish to the high street. So yeah, it's always been a part, and obviously has a big influence now on me.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, that's quite a period of time where there was a lot of change going on, wasn't there, in the 80s and 70s and 80s? And yeah, it's as you say, the likes of McLaren and Westwood had a real impact on that. And I don't know if you saw the Danny Boyle Sex Pistols sort of biopic thing that was on a few months ago.
Absolutely. My house is like a shrine to the Sex Pistols. But what I liked about it was, for me, the Sex Pistols were the complete package of fashion. Yeah. Malcolm McLaren talked about the look of music and the sound of fashion, and that was prevalent in the Sex Pistols and what they designed, and there's lots of stuff now in the V&A Museum that are classic pieces, like the Roy t-shirts and stuff. And then the design work by Jamie Reed, the Queen with the safety pin, ripping up the Union Jack and putting it together with safety pins, which at that time in 1976, 1977 was really quite shocking at the time. So they were, for me, as a pop package, they were the complete thing with the fashion and the art as well. And that's why I kind of got obsessed by them.
Fantastic. So that's obviously where the interest in the difference in the latex came from, and I guess was obviously your first exposure to the material, wasn't it, really? But was there something that particularly drew you towards the latex side of it, Stuart? Was there a particular thing put your finger on that stood out to you?
With the latex, no. I mean, before I moved over to the Netherlands, to Amsterdam, I was I'm from Dundee. I was living there. I had a bit of a dead-end job. I used to work for the council with the parks. I had a girlfriend who just wanted to get married and have kids and stuff like that. And at that point, I was 23 then, and I didn't want to. That would seem like a bit of a dead end for me. So, before I left, I remember on Channel 4 there was some program, and there was something about latex on it, and it was about the mask in Amsterdam. Now, my brother's wife, she's from Derby, and that's where Steve English, who was the founder of the mask, that's where he's from Derby. And she was actually friends with him. My sister-in-law, her best friend, was the girlfriend of Steve English's best friend. So we had an ongoing kind of connection. And so when I came over here, I was working in hotels for about a year, and then I met a couple of Scottish girls here, and they actually worked in Damask. And then I went in and went down and asked for a spoke to Steve and then mentioned the Derby connection, and then the rest was kind of history.
Wow.
That was me involved in latex.
Wow, small world, eh? It's
Yeah,
it's not what you know, it's who you know, isn't it? Yeah. Yeah. Oh, Bill. So yeah, you've been working with latex now for, I think your website says, about sort of 30 years plus now. And you've already mentioned that the start of that was when you were working in Damascus over in the Netherlands. What sort of skills and experience did working at a place like Damascus give you during that time that you were there?
Damascus gave me everything. I mean, Damascus for me even now is like family. We're still really good friends. I mean, that whole 30 years, that was when I started. I haven't been involved in latex and the whole of that time. I had just away from it, and then I came back again.
Yeah.
And that's for Damascus, and then, with Filth. Damascus was everything. So at that time, Damascus, I think Damascus and Skin 2 at that time were, so talking about 96, they were the two major companies in the world that were making latex. And Damascus were, I think, were known as being one of the best quality. So it's such a high standard of making clothes, and there were some amazing, talented people that were working at Damascus, in the various departments, clothes and corsets and stuff.
Sure.
So it actually took me, you have your initial trial period, and then if you can do a basic a basic seam, then you would get taken on. But it took a couple of months before you actually started making any clothes, because it was put down to the quality and how you made it. I mean, it was really, really high standards. So that's what I kept with me. So in my career in Damascus, I went on to be in charge of the lingerie department when they opened the lingerie department.
Okay.
Who came in at Damascus. And then I became in charge of the clothes department with Damascus before I left it in the early 2000s. So quality is a big, big deal for me. And for Filth now and bringing that into Filth, for me, I want to be the best quality company that there is out there, for sure.
Brill. Is that something you'd agree with there, Lottie? I know you've got some of Filth's garments. Is the quality of the standard that you expect?
Absolutely. I mean, whenever you find a new brand, there is always that concern that it's going to be a thin latex, the seams aren't going to be quite right.
Yeah.
And when you get it wrong, you really get it wrong, don't you? But from the second I opened that packaging, when you just feel it, that latex felt perfect. The piping that was done on it was such good quality. I mean, Stuart had kept me up to date the whole way through making that dress. So I'd seen bits and bats of what was being done, how the collar was going, how this was going. And I think you can really tell when someone cares about what they do, the quality is so much better. Definitely.
Yeah. That passion comes through, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
And, yeah. Brill. So you're working at Damascus, Stuart, as you say, you sort of didn't necessarily spend the entire time, you're back and forth with the latex, but what made you decide to form Filth, and can you tell us a little about how and when it was formed, and also, what's the concept behind the brand? Is there something that you think makes Filth unique and different to other designers out there?
Well, I hope so. So Filth itself started before COVID. I always wanted to kind of get back into it, and I was at actually Steve English's wedding in France.
Okay, yeah.
And I saw lots of people there from, because I'd kind of been out of the whole fetish and kink scene for whatever reason. And it was nice and refreshing, being back there. Obviously, it was a very kink and fetish themed wedding.
Of course, yeah.
I was there. I wasn't wearing any latex. I was wearing the traditional Scottish stuff. Right? Quite surprisingly, a lot of the kinksters there that were in full latex catsuits were more giggly about what was under the kilt than wearing on the latex. So that was a bit of a pleasant surprise. But on the way back, I kind of had a bit of an epiphany about doing it and making clothes, because before I wanted to get back into it, because for me it was always the best. It was the best job I had, or the most enjoyable job that I ever had, working at the desk. And I wanted to I wanted to get back into it, and I thought I would just get back into it doing little things here and there. But then the whole concept about trying to do something that was a bit more alternative, because I feel, and no disrespect to all the latex companies that are out there, but I feel that it's much the same stuff that gets churned by the big companies. I don't see much difference. There's a few standouts. Always a standout. Dead Lotus Couture.
Yeah.
I really like what they do, what she does. That they're big standouts, and of course there might be a few that I don't know. But I feel that it's much the same, right? And I've repaired a lot of other companies' clothes that come into the mass. We'll bring stuff into repairs, and I do a lot of that for them.
Yeah.
I see a lot of companies' clothes up firsthand, and I personally don't think that the quality is there, to be honest. And no disrespect to any of the other companies. I just don't feel that it's there. And so I want to make sure that every single garment, which is made by me personally,
of course, yeah,
at the highest standards that I used to do. And with designs, I try to do twists, and I want to make it interesting again for people to wear latex clothes, like Dead Lotus do. Before, if you go back to the 90s, and they still are probably the biggest influence for me, and that's Murray and Verne. I don't know if you know Murray.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Yep.
Sure. Verne was actually at the wedding. He's really such a nice guy, and I knew Stuart and Angela from before. They used to come over to the Europerf parties in Amsterdam. They, for me, were one of the biggest, still are one of the biggest influences. I thought that they were real groundbreakers at the time, and their stuff, even now, for me, is completely timeless.
Yeah.
Their creations that they did, and even what they did with Mich, that wasn't latex, I think amazing, with the bondage straps and stuff like that. So they're still a big part of that influence for me and for Filth, actually. And I have all the clothes kind of come from what I like, so it's kind of a real personal thing. I'm not thinking about what somebody else will like. It's why before I put this collection out and before I did the first stuff, I'm really scared about it, because what if people don't like it? Because it's my taste, right? And I'm not doing it to please somebody else. Otherwise, I would just do the same kind of boring tops, right? Or the same boring dresses.
Yeah,
I find boring. So I try to do something different, and I love the kind of relationship between the exhibitionist and the voyeur. So it's why I like to tease with the dresses. So like one of the new skirts that I did with the cutout at the side of the hip.
Yeah,
I like there to be a tease of what else is there, what's underneath. It's just like a little peek through the curtains as to what's in there, and it's why I use a lot of semi-transparent latex with the solid color latex.
Yes,
I like that element of teasing in the relationship between the voyeur and the exhibitionist, and that's what I try to convey in the clothes, and that's the main kind of influence here. But the dress with the zippers on it, the Bromley dress, that's designed that when you open the zippers up, you don't see everything, right? If you open the zips, where the breasts are, you don't see a full breast. You only see either the bottom part of it below the nipple or above that.
Yeah.
Everything is meant to titillate, to tease, to do nice old, British work.
Yeah. Yeah. It's interesting you brought that particular dress up, actually, because I think that's, and we'll get onto the new collection in detail a little bit later on. But
yeah,
that dress is certainly one of the standout items, and I think now that you've explained to us your past history and love of things like Sex Pistols and punk and whatever, that's kind of made me sort of link those two together and completely see that the inspiration that you've taken from your childhood and the music you listened to has brought itself into the garments that you're designing now as part of Filth. It's, good to see. Good to see.
Yeah, thank you.
What do you enjoy most about working with latex, Stuart? What are the biggest challenges and what's the sort of best learning experience you ever had? And is there something that really, we've had people say the smell of it being on one occasion, but what's the thing that most appeals to you working with latex versus traditional materials?
Yeah, I can tell it's sort of kind of worked in the shop in Damascus. That's another thing. With people coming in and with the touch and the smell of the latex. It's not the smell of the latex. That doesn't kind of do it for me. I like to push the skill levels, right? And so when I'm working with the semi-transparent with the solid, I'm doing lines that cut across dresses and, with the pattern pieces. So, for example, the tiger dress that I've got, I think there's something like 36 different pattern pieces in that dress. And it's about, I like pushing the skill and I like pushing it out to make a kind of a beautiful item. Otherwise, you don't improve, right? It's why I do a lot of piping. The piping as well that Lottie mentioned before. I really like doing that because to do the piping that goes around curves, and I'm going to be introducing that in the future into a couple of the new dresses.
Amazing.
Maybe I send something to Lottie and she can see for that. But
happy to help.
But I really like doing that. I like pushing the skill level.
Yeah.
And not keeping it the same. And for me, every seam has got to be like it's been injected with Botox. It's got to be completely smooth. Lines in it. I mean, I can see on Instagram and people post and stuff, I can see exactly what it's like. And I know what's a good seam and what's a bad seam.
Yeah.
And I want to make sure that 100% every one of mine are good. So keeping it to a level and going back to the zip dress, even for me, even cutting that out, when I cut out all the sections for the zips within the dress, they've got to be so precise. You can't cut over it, otherwise it makes it weaker at the ends of the zips. You cannot do a little nick forward or whatever. So even that has got to be really kind of precise. And it's a difficult one to do, but I really like it also. I like to push it, otherwise you don't get any better.
Yeah.
What you do.
The results have definitely been worth it. And it's great to hear that somebody has got that attention to detail for designing something that is, in lots of cases, a luxury product for some people. Great, Stuart, to hear that you've got that real care and attention to it. So, Lottie, when did you first discover Filth Latex, and was there anything in particular that really drew your attention to the brand?
So I think it was early December that we started talking, and I mean, as Stuart said, his designs are so different that's really what drew me into thinking, yeah, actually, I really, really, really want to work together with you. Obviously, the new collection wasn't out then, and I think you had maybe 4 or 5 different dresses at the time.
Something like that, yeah.
And we went for the Ivy Deluxe, which, as you can see on Instagram, is absolutely beautiful. But I know we talked about like is it Sibba dress? I don't know how you pronounce it.
That's who taught me the mask. So that's a kind of a homage to her. She sadly passed away like 6 years ago or something, but that was like a homage to her.
It's a nice little touch. I like that one. Yeah.
But yeah, looking at that one, it was just everything from the sort of the asymmetric cut of the skirt to the connection on the sleeves. It screamed of being something different and someone taking real care into making different designs. Which it's nicer now hearing that it's the way that you've come up with these designs is through your own love and not thinking. I like the idea that you're not really what everyone else wants. It's I like this, and it's kind of like wearing your heart on your sleeve, isn't it?
Yeah, which is a double-edged sword. It's a double-edged.
I think it's brilliant. But then you teased some of the zip dress pictures when you were making your first one, and I didn't even need to see the full dress to go, well, I want one of those. That's gonna happen. It's absolutely fab.
Yeah, it's always nice when there's somebody out there, a newly formed designer brand that's that brings something unique, doesn't it, to the industry.
When I get my message and it says that he sent me a message with a picture, and I'm like, oh my God, what's it going to be? I can't wait. Feel very privileged to have seen some of the new collection sort of before everyone else, and yeah, it's brilliant.
Yeah, it is. Well, question to you both then. Let's see if Lottie can remember her response from the first time we asked this question.
Oh
no. Latex clothing means different things to different people. Some people think it's empowering, outlandish. Stuart's kind of already touched on the idea of it being a bit of a tease. What does latex fashion mean to you guys?
Well, I'm still going to say that I think it's empowering for me personally. I do like to wear the latex fashion that you feel like you can leave the house in and walk around a random city in England.
Yeah.
Obviously, we've talked about how Berlin is a bit more liberal with that sort of thing, but I want to feel like I can wear it out, but I do want to have the shock factor with it. I just don't want to be frightening people. So it feels like that very fine balance where it's something that people find curious and they want to come and ask questions. They're not too frightened to stand next to me and actually ask.
Yeah. What about you, Stuart? What's in?
I find it extremely empowering as well, and that's one of the ways to go about it. And I've seen it a lot in Damask and people who come in that are specifically plus size.
Yeah.
And you think that latex is not for me and it's not going to look good on me. And absolutely it does.
Definitely.
Absolutely it does.
Yeah.
It's kind of, one of the reasons, so I use a slightly thicker grade of latex on all my dresses and the men's shirts. So it's like 0.45. Because I think it gives, rather than the 0.33, I think a lot of people use, for me, 0.45 is a little bit more expensive, but I think it gives better form to the body.
Yeah.
And I think that, I absolutely think that it's so empowering for to wear latex, and it's for everyone, and not, for me, I want to take latex from a niche to being a bit more, mainstream, which obviously Studio Kudo does absolutely brilliantly, right?
Most definitely.
To do that, and one of the two models that I use, Louisa, she does a lot of the club scene here, and she's worn a few of my pieces out there and to the clubs and people. She gets lots of attention and stuff, and I want it to be more accessible, which is like the little bandeaus and little tops to be worn out in public and not save it for the fetch party.
Yeah. No,
I think, what barriers do you think there are then that are stopping people from doing that in the mainstream?
And I think it's the I think the big association with BDSM, right? In that, and it's kind of like almost why I called the company Filth, because it's that image of the it's back in the 80s, this naughty thing. Even though I'm trying to make dresses that are quite beautiful, I hope that are beautiful and elegant, it's a kind of a contradiction, right? It's filth, but it's not. It's something that's really beautiful. And I think that there's a massive association with, Pulp Fiction with Pulp Fiction wearing the masks and the hoods, and but for the point of the fashion, I think that kind of that stops it. And obviously, from the 90s onwards, there's always been this flirtation with fashion and latex. Saint Laurent, all of them have went latex bits and pieces now and again.
Yeah.
You know, I made a top for Eva Herzegovina for Cannes that she wore.
Wow.
You know, and there's always been this flirtation, but now it's a bit much more mainstream than it's ever been. You know, you do a brilliant job of posting all the celebrities that are wearing, you know, at the Brit Awards or you know, Oscars or whatever awards that are.
Yeah.
You know, unfortunately, they must all use the same company, but hopefully we can change that.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
I suppose you've like half answered my next kind of question. And as far as latex goes, I'm still very much a baby in it. I've only been wearing it for a few years, and have so much more to learn. You've obviously been working with it a lot longer. Have you found that it has become more popular? You've seen a wider variety of people buying it, or is it still very much a similar sort of demographic?
No, it's more popular. It's just that now there are so many people making it now. I've never seen as many people now making latex and selling it. You know, you can, you know, it's great. People make it at home and stuff. You know, you can buy them, you know, like Latex Repair, they do the book for it, and it's great. People can make it at home, and it's a much more accessible thing than it is for somebody getting a sewing machine and making garments using a sewing machine, right? But you know, if you make a nice meal at home, it doesn't mean you should open up a restaurant, right?
Yeah, there's definitely been a massive explosion, as you say, Stuart, in companies, designers, even over the last sort of 4 years or so, 4 or 5 years since, you know, we've been wearing latex 24/7. There was a period a couple of years ago where it kind of almost felt like every month there was some new brand popping up on Instagram and whatever that was, you know, starting small and getting into the industry. But yeah,
I suppose that ties us quite nicely back into the fact that with all these new brands starting, and you do start simple, don't you, in things that people want to buy, things like circle skirts, pencil skirts.
Yeah.
So it ties us quite nicely back into the fact that your designs are so unique and so different that it really sort of sets you aside.
Yeah, I definitely didn't start simple. I think the tiger dress was the first one that I did. I certainly didn't start simple, but then, you know, I had the skills behind me. I did a few pieces for Damask, and I've designed a few pieces for Damask that are still in the store. And I did these, and phenomenal to Damask, and I'm always indebted to Damask because they helped me to bring through. If it wasn't for Damask, I wouldn't be here, you know, doing Filth, and even now. So, I mean, you know, they're still like family for me, Damask.
Fab. Just talking about the actual garments and so forth that you sell, Stuart, you cover a wide range, don't you? Male, female, dresses, briefs, bras, stockings, tops, accessories. What are your most popular items that you design and sell, and which ones are most frequently requested and sold?
Well, right now it's about I'll be perfectly honest, it's a bit of a tough market. I know there's a lot of people that are suffering at the moment. There's a lot of obviously there's a lot of people out there that are a lot cheaper than me. So right now it's a bit of a tougher one. I think the most popular one has been the Ivy Deluxe.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
That's been the most popular dress. I mean, I don't make that. I made a bra for Damask. I don't have any bras myself. I've kept away from doing cupped bras at the moment. I find them to be, from the experience of working in a Damask shop, I find that very difficult to get it right and to get the cups to get a normal. Well, you can maybe back me up here, but to get a good normal fitting bra is quite a challenge sometimes. So to do it in latex, where on latex you have to kind of push it out for it to look good. You can't have it looking like a piece of corrugated iron, right, on the back. It looks really terrible. It has to be stretched. And I find that's a really difficult thing. It's why a lot of my dresses go with the princess line, because it's very flattering for, you know, if you're going from an A cup to, you know, double D or whatever. It's such a versatile kind of design, and it's why it's really popular.
It flatters the majority of sizes because there's nothing wrong than like a boob sticking out in the wrong direction because you'll never wear the dress again.
Of course not.
Yeah, it's so it's I would say that. I mean, the men's stuff has just gone online.
Yeah.
So I hope that does something. And it's, when I've ever seen men, always at fetish parties, men tend to be, for me, the least adventurous, right?
Yeah.
They don't kind of push the boat out. Even on the gay scene, it's all like little straps and stuff like that, and tank tops.
Yeah.
Little straps. And then there's no real kind of pushing the boat out. And so it's why, it's why I took it, a t-shirt with a stripe down the arm, right? I take the stripe off the arm and I put it under the arm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I do it in one continuous strip, which is actually quite a tricky thing to do. It's not as easy as it may seem. And so it's doing little things like that. So when you're in a club, as you're dancing or you're walking, you get the flashes. The point is that you get the flashes of color, and you have a point of intrigue, while you're wearing it. The other Gibby shirt with the zippers on the shoulder and under that again, and the side seams underneath. Right, it's about also for a man that you could tease a bit as well, right? You can open up these zips and
of course,
and whatever, and there will be a version of the Brumley dress for the men on the tops as well. That's definitely going to come. So yeah, and somebody actually bought. I'm extremely delighted that somebody just bought a pair of the bondage trousers.
Yeah.
So I'm extremely that's the first pair. So I'm extremely delighted because they're, if I say it myself, they're absolutely beautiful. A complicated thing to make, but they're absolutely stunning. Trousers like these in the latex world, I don't think. So I hope that they become a bit, but again, it's my taste, right? It's what I like. So,
it seems to have served you well so far, Stuart. So if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So it's I've noticed over the last 3-4 months, really. Maybe this will be a trend for 2024, but I've certainly noticed a lot more designers pushing the menswear latex than maybe they have before.
I think it was necessary because there wasn't a lot of choice out there for men, and when there was a number of different garments, they all seemed very similar.
Yeah,
and as you say, Stuart, there is a lot of tank tops and almost costume type tops. Where was the casual latex wear for men that still stood out, let them feel like they were part of fashion? And it's something that's been missing.
Yeah, it's been trying to play about, with one of the shirts that I do, the Matlock shirt. I mean, I dropped the sleeves on it. I haven't seen anybody doing a drop sleeve shirt, It's like, it's all t-shirts. I'm just basic kind of like standard t-shirt thing.
Yeah.
So I drop the sleeves on it, and when you go to these parties, for me, the guys always kind of look the same, and it's why I put a built-in armband, which you can buy the t-shirt without the armband, but I put a built-in armband because it was almost like a uniform, right?
Yeah.
So it was almost that militaristic kind of view that all the men look the same, so let's stick an armband on built armband on there, right? And to kind of show that, and to do something a bit different, right? But not everybody wants to be different at a party, and so we'll see what happens, But men should push it out a little bit, right? I mean, who doesn't want like a peacock at a party, right?
It's fingers crossed. It's a growth area. Really do. It's about time that it gets some more exposure, if you'll pardon the term. I think I probably know the answer to this question already, really, Stuart. But the customers that wear your garments and your designs, how important to you is the reaction of those customers? From what I'm gathering, it's everything to you from what you're saying.
Yeah, you knew the answer.
Yeah,
I can, every single like on Instagram, and I reply to every single comment and whatever. it's such a personal thing for me, and I'm so appreciative of it. I take absolutely nothing for granted here.
Yeah.
100% don't take anything for granted. I'm not looking to be rich from this. I'll never be rich from this, let's face it. But I want to just be able to do enough that I can live, and then I can keep producing more irons. I mean, I've got, so it does mean everything to me, and the quality for me as above anything else is the quality. I want to be known, or I would like to be known for producing the best quality latex there is out there. That is 100% my aim.
Awesome. You've recently started selling a number of your items from your ranges within a boutique in Amsterdam, which is is it Mangata? Is that how you pronounce it?
Yeah.
Mangata. Yeah. Has that opened up new avenues and new customers for you? And do you think what advantages has it brought to the brand from people being able to see your items in the flesh, as it were?
Yeah, it's nice to do it, to see it there, because I like the concept. When I first saw Mangata, was on Instagram, and I was actually at my brother's in Spain for Christmas and New Year, and then I saw it and I contacted them, because before I wasn't really thinking about it. For first, I was going to be putting some clothes into Damask.
Okay, yeah.
I decided not to, because I don't want it to be fully associated with BDSM. I mean, there's always going to be fetish associated with it, and that's certainly fine. But it's nice to kind of go from that niche to a wider kind of market, like, Sirakudo being that same example that I've cited a couple of times, right? I loved what Mangata were doing. I spoke to Yana, the owner, over the phone, and then I came and I brought her some samples, because they were wanting to sell high quality items, and they don't just sell. They're not just selling, lingerie and collars, which they do, and they have a lot of really gorgeous stuff in there. But they sell a lot of kind of like household stuff. It's very chosen items that they sell. And I went in and it just really kind of clicked. There was a really nice connection. And so seeing my clothes down there, and then so it was this was before I started making for the photo shoot. So I was making a lot of Ivy Deluxe dresses and whatnot for their shop. So to see it in that environment is absolutely amazing. And I think I put, there was at the opening party, there was Kim, one of the models that I used, who was there. She more than happy to throw on a dress and do a bit of downstairs in the shop, which is always lovely to see. So for me to see it there is just amazing. It's a brand new shop, so it's about getting people into the shop, and knowing it's a shop that's it's got latex and stuff in it. But she's working on their strategy, but I absolutely love it there. I really like her. She's such a sweet person. She's got a really good mind. She's got really good taste. Obviously, she stalks me, so she's got phenomenal taste. So yeah, I really like it there, and it thrills me every time to see it in a space like that. And I didn't think I would be doing that. I didn't think I would be putting it in a shop.
Well. Is that something that you think, Lottie, is a benefit to the people who are buying like latex, actually being able to physically
be
touch,
able to see it and sort of touch it and get an idea of what it's like, especially for those that haven't worn latex before? I think it's a really big thing, because there aren't many people that do stock in shops. A lot of it is online, and if you've got absolutely no idea if you're going to like it, it's a lot of money to stump up to find out that actually you hate it and never want to touch it again. And I think that puts off a lot of people. So being able to go in, browse around a shop, but it not feel like you're going into a sex shop. For it to feel like you are just going out shopping like you would in any other shop, and get to see it in the flesh, see how it would fit you. That's massive. I am already planning my trip to the Netherlands.
Can't wait. One of the things I was going to say, we have to get the both of you over to some parties over here.
Absolutely. I'm sold.
definitely. I was just about to say, I bet Lottie's got a ticket booked already, and she beat me to it. Yeah.
Maybe.
Well, Stuart, what would you say to anybody that's interested in wearing the material but hasn't taken the plunge yet? Maybe somebody's unsure about doing it, unsure about whether it's for them. What piece of advice would you give to a newcomer to latex clothing?
Just do it.
Just do it. Exactly. Making people do it. You got to try it, right?
Yeah.
You really got to try it, but latex is such a paradox, right? Because when you wear it in the club, and it's such a, when you see it in that environment in a club and people look, the lights are shining on it and stuff, it looks absolutely amazing. But then when you stop outside and it's cold, it's absolutely
freezing.
When you stop outside, it's this. But it's truly that second skin, right? And like,
yes,
skin too is such a good name. It really is a second skin, and I think you've really got to. Some people obviously like latex, feeling of latex, and get a lot more from it. For him, 100%, it's all about the latex. So people get different things from it, but even as a kind of a fashion thing, to wear it out in public, like Lottie was saying, absolutely go for it. So, you know what? It's almost like the paradox. If you wear a hat and you go outside and you wear a hat for the first time, you think people are all staring at me because you've got a hat on. Absolutely nobody's looking at you. And you get used to it. And it's the same with latex. You can wear it and one or two people will look at you. That's it. It's done. It's gone. Right? And so you might as well, go for it. But
just have to own it, don't you?
That's the big thing. I think Lottie's right there. And there's a lot of people come to the mask from around the Netherlands, and they'll come specifically to try it on. And so that's really such a big advantage about doing that. But if anybody has questions about me and my sizes in the size chat I put on there, contact me anytime. It's me that answers you personally, and I'll happily answer any questions about doing about sizes and fits and whatever.
Brilliant. Yeah, that's one thing that's always really great about the community, I think, and the industry is that chances are the people that you're buying from are probably the people that are going to be manufacturing it, making it, posting it to you. So people are always more than happy to help, answer questions, put your mind at peace if it's something that you think's something that you want to try and maybe just need that final little bit of encouragement to do so. So,
I mean, even if you're at a party or something, right? I mean, when, parties have the strict dress codes, but latex is not the only dress code, right? And if you go there, you can always go and ask somebody, right? If you see somebody in latex, they're going to be more than happy to talk about it.
Yeah.
And, the community is what I like about the whole, the kink and the fetish community is that it's so open and it's, nobody's an outsider there, and people are so welcoming and so friendly that anybody's going to tell you about it. If you ask them about wearing latex, what they think about it and stuff like that, they're going to be more than happy to talk to you about it.
Without a doubt. Well, so this week, Stuart, you launched your new collection. We had an article on our website posted yesterday, I think, about it.
Thank you. Yeah.
Can you just take us through a little bit about the inspiration and the ethos for that new collection?
Yeah. Again, the inspiration goes to the voyeur, the exhibitionist. Absolutely. I wanted to make some pieces that were a bit more accessible, but still had a twist. So, for example, I do a dress called the Harvey dress.
Yeah,
which is one that's hopefully this time that's on its way to Lottie, or should be with her quite soon.
Tomorrow. So excited.
I don't have a very good posting history, by the way.
Not that she's counting down the hours or anything. She's
another story. Yeah. But so the Harvey dress, when you look at it, it just looks like a simple, elegant gown, or even like a night dress. And so, it's got a single 1 centimeter straps. Everything's double reinforced, so it looks very, very delicate, very feminine, very delicate, but it's very, very strong, right? I make sure that everything, a lot of things like that, like waistbands, everything like that is a double layered latex that I put 2 layers on to make it a bit stronger. But I thought, well, how can I make this a bit? How can I do a twist on this simple dress? And my solution to that was to do the zippers on the side seam. So the whole side seam as a zipper. I got the zippers specially made.
Yep.
So they open from the bottom down and from the bottom up. They go 2 ways, so they're like a double open-ended zipper. So again, you can tease if you buy the calf length dress. You can open up one side. You can create your own side split. You can open up both sides if you want to. How high or low? You can even take it from the way down. So it's about putting a twist on these things. There's one backless dress, the Nina dress.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, another one.
If that can go anywhere, then I really don't know what can go anywhere. Those are 2 little simple dresses. Obviously, there's the Bromley dress, which we've touched on as well with all the zippers on it. The thing looks stunning, and the sleeveless version looks. I think it looks absolutely killer. If I say so myself.
Definitely.
Especially in the semi-transparents. I really like the semi-transparents more than on a personal level than the actual solid colours. We have a penchant for it. So I think that one, and the black zippers as well for that one, I got them all made especially from YKK, and they're all black plastic zippers, so then there's less chance of the zippers decoloration on the zippers.
Yes.
And it's the same with the dress that Lottie's getting, which is the light blue, which I think is such a beautiful understated colour. I think on the website it's one of my Ivy Deluxe dresses is that blue colour. I think it's beautiful. And with the black zipper at the side, it just the blue just kind of pops. Right? And then I've introduced for the first time, I've introduced skirts, and I've introduced a bunch of skirts. For me, the cutouts mini skirt and the cutout pencil skirt. So it's taken a pencil skirt's a timeless classic, right?
Of course.
So let's cut a piece out of the side of it and show a little bit of skin at the top of the hip, right? I've put double layered waistbands in it to get a bit of form that goes around the tummy, so it kind of, holds things there for you if you want to be held in that place and whatnot. So, and then of course there's a bunch of little tops that you can mix and match with them. I've got like the Costa top. Yeah, they have fast matching skirts, which is actually it's named after a Brazilian singer called Gal Costa. One to look up. She's amazing. She's amazing, yeah. But she was amazing. But so you can mix and match them, right? With you can have the point is you can match it with anything that's already in your collection. So I'm sure a lot of people have simple black items. If you've got a black top or you just have a black skirt, you can take the Costa skirt, and again, there's a bit of voyeurism there because you've got the line, the semi-transparent line that goes right down the front of the skirt unashamedly, and then you have the same on the back, and then you have that bit of that organic curve, where the bum is, to show a little bit more bump.
Phenomenal. It's a very versatile collection you put together, Stuart, and the idea of mixed and matching, I think both with other latex and non-latex apparel is something that should be very manageable with what you produced. I'm imagine Lottie's probably got an extra page added to her shopping list now of things that she wants to buy. Is that right, Lottie?
My bank manager has prevented me from discussing this with you anymore. Every time. No, like I said, I am so in love with that zip dress, and you're absolutely right. The sleeveless one is absolutely stunning and so wearable. That's the thing, is it's so wearable. But even like is it the Beth mini skirt? Like the cutout for me, I don't think would work. But you still get that cutout effect with the Beth because there's a triangular panel that's in the same sort of areas where the cutout would be. So you still get that gorgeous look. And so it's, there's something for everybody's shape, for every size. It just works.
With the Beth one as well, I tried to not just have the basic straight line at the bottom of the end.
Yes, I noticed that. The like little cut up, like it's really flattering there.
Yeah, and it's like with the Merlina, the cutout one, the cutout at the bottom is a bit of a kind of a really harsh square cutout. I really like brutalism and brutalist kind of like architecture and stuff like that, and so that I tried to put little elements of that in there. So the cutout at the bottom is like a square little kind of cutout, right?
I love how much you think about your designs like that.
So I try to do. Yes, it's like the men's tops, the Matlock ones, like the one with the drop sleeves. They have little slits at the bottom, and the bottom section of the panel, the bottom and the back is longer than the front. So you have a little step, you have a little slit, and I've made sure that men who wear my t-shirts, they don't have that problem of the t-shirt kind of riding up over their stomach. The latex t-shirts are too short. I've made absolutely sure that my shirts are long enough because, hey, I've got that tummy and it's happened to me. I've kind of I made sure that I'm going to solve that.
I know that feeling. Yes. If you could create a latex outfit for anyone in the world, Stuart, who would it be? And can you describe what it would be like?
No pressure. I'm not looking at you.
Can I choose more than one person?
Well, go on then, since it's you.
Okay, I'm going to say 3. I've got 3 that I would do.
Okay.
First one would be Kate Moss.
Okay.
Kate Moss is complete idol for me. When you see pictures of a lot of my, there was a picture of her at a party in the 90s where she's wearing this little tiny see-through, almost like chiffon dress, and she's just wearing a pair of black panties underneath it. I thought that was one of the most sexiest, hottest things ever. And it's why you probably see on my dresses that all the models are wearing like black, they're wearing panties underneath. That's exactly from Kate Moss. She's still absolutely amazing. She's a style icon. So for her, I would 100% make something for her. Another one would be who the Beth miniskirt is named after, is Beth Dittle.
Okay,
and she's amazing as well. Singer from the Gossip, for anybody who doesn't know. I would love to make something for her. And the other one would be Gillian Anderson.
Good choice.
Yeah,
yes.
Scully.
Yeah.
So I would definitely, she just looks better and better and better as she matures or ages. Obviously, stunning. What would I make them? God, I don't know. That's
we look forward to seeing the Gillian soon.
Yeah, actually, the Gillian one, so I do actually have a design that's for the next batch that'll come out, and I have a blouse that's going to be a blouse with like a button to open up, so it'll button by the neck, but then it's going to open up in a curve. So again, I have one top that's a plunge top, and it's quite revealing. It's always quite revealing. I've got the same kind of thing, so it's going to be like a little. It's going to be a take on a blouse. So it's going to have a collar as well. I think the collar, I'm going to not have the collar line flat. I think I'll have the collar sticking up like a little bit of an Elvis, a little bit of the 70s Elvis influence there. So that's going to be in the future for that, and maybe for Kate, I would have 3 catsuits I'm away to, which I think is it Beth Parkin? She's made the
Yes.
she made
Yeah.
the best. So she made the pattern for me for them from a long time ago, and there's so much happened that I didn't even get a chance to do it. And now I've sorted the patterns out. Hopefully, I get a chance to get around making the samples of the first catsuits for the collection and the bodies. So I would probably put one of them on Kate Moss.
No, that sounds fab. We're hoping to have Beth on the show in a couple of months' time, so I'll be sure to pick your brains on that one. Yeah,
She's lovely. Yeah, she's probably forgotten about them by now. Long since I've taken to do them, but I'm going to be I'll be set. If she's listening to this, I'm going to be getting in touch with her again.
Fab.
Questions for.
So, other than the catsuits for Kate Moss and the garments and blouses for Gillian, what's next for Filth Latex, Stuart? What can you tease us with, since that's the word of the day?
I did a design this morning, which I was talking to Yana from the owner of Mangata.
Yeah.
Well, she's never worn latex before.
Okay. Well, now's about time. Yeah.
So now is absolutely about time. So I'm going to make for her, making a dress for her. We were going back and forward some of her ideas, obviously some of what I want to do for a dress. And came up with something that she's approved. So I'm going to make a gorgeous dress for her to lose her latex virginity. I've got a few dresses that are still here. So I mean, the dust has got to settle on this new collection. I'm going to move my platform. My website's on Squarespace. It's very limited.
Yeah,
I'm going to move over. I need to migrate everything over to another platform, and I just got to keep on keeping on. You know, I mean, it's everything that comes in from the dresses. Everything's reinvested. I haven't made one penny from Filth at all. Nothing. I survived. Filth has kind of survived on other things, and everything that I get, I reinvest in it.
Yeah.
When I do a pattern, I do 2 fittings with a pattern. I've got a pattern maker that I work with. I mean, I did pattern making, but I don't have the time to kind of do that, and I'm not at that skill level to be doing that. I admit that. It's only basics, and the fit is a big thing for me. It goes this pack and parcel with the quality. So you got to start with the fit. If the fit's not right,
yeah,
the garment's not right. And so I invest a lot. I work a lot with this lovely pattern maker, Daniela. She's in the Netherlands. I work with her. The dust has got to settle on this. Now I've got designs that are waiting to go. Really, but everything's waiting to go. I've got tops. I've got more men's stuff that's waiting to go.
Brilliant.
But yeah, I've got to start selling a few things before I can kind of reinvest. Love the new build up some more products to kind of come out there with.
Amazing. Well, we look forward to seeing those, and really do wish you the best of luck with the new collection. Sure, it'll be a massive hit, and fingers crossed those sales start pouring in. I think that's probably all we've got time for, unfortunately, on this episode of The Shiny Sofa. So if Stuart, do you want to just remind everybody where they can find you online, where they should follow you and so forth?
Yeah, I mean, find us on Instagram, Filth Latex Clothing on Instagram, and then it's the website is filth-latex.com.
Fantastic. Well,
I appreciate again having me on here and letting me talk. I just hope people can understand me without the aid of subtitles.
I'm sure they will do, Stuart. No, it's been an absolute pleasure. Really, it's always so nice to speak to people within the industry that, you know, that particularly with social media, sometimes that passion doesn't quite come across properly in just photos and text and things. So it's great to actually hear somebody and speak to them and understand what makes them tick, and also see and learn a little bit about some of those little things that maybe you wouldn't find out. I'm thinking there's specifics in terms of some of the ways that you've named your garments after particular people. That's a really nice little nitbit to hear. So yeah, thank you for your time. It's been great, and thanks Lottie as well for joining us. We look forward to seeing that new dress when it arrives in the next day or two. She'll be on Instagram and TikTok. And do you want to just give everyone a reminder about where they can find you? Because everyone should follow you if they don't.
I am on Instagram as Latex Lottie 1, and I am on TikTok as the same thing. Everyone else is fake.
Brilliant.
I'm on TikTok now and Twitter.
Oh, fab. Okay.
Not that a lot of people follow me, but I am on them, and I just got my first video banned on TikTok as well. So
you've truly made it now.
Do something
right, yeah. That's brilliant. Cheers, guys. Thank you for your time. It's been amazing to speak to you both, and hopefully we'll speak to you both very, very soon again. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. I'm afraid that's all we have time for on this episode of Shiny Sofa. Many thanks to our special guests, Stuart of Filth Latex and the amazing Latex Lottie, for being with us today. We hope you found the Shiny Sofa comfy and will join us again next time. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button wherever you listen to your podcast, and be sure to head over to latex247.co.uk for all the latest latex fashion news and reviews.